Let's bring in Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall and Cal Berkeley law professor John Yoo. Welcome to you both. So the House Oversight Chair, James Comer, who, by the way, for clarity, is a banker, had this to say. Watch. And now, John Yoo, he would like to ask the Biden family directly.
I'm very encouraged to see Mr. Comer and his staff doing this in a careful, deliberate way. They didn't rush to call these witnesses right away. Instead, they built a documentary record. Remember, we saw that chart where the money came from China, through shell companies, through individual accounts, and then ended up 10% of it in Joe Biden's checking account.
Right.
That's what you have to now confront the witnesses with and say, under oath, are you really going to say that's just paying back a personal loan? Under oath, did you really earn this money? Did you really perform a service for this? Or were you really influence peddling? Were you really promising to try to influence the United States government and gather information in exchange for that money? There's a big difference between sending people out into the press and making the claim that you were just making money normally and there's nothing to hide here, and then saying it under oath, under threat of perjury or obstruction of justice before Congress.
Yeah, especially when there is very little evidence, in fact, no evidence that we have seen of this loan process. Hunter Biden's attorney, Kevin, touched on this. Abby Lowell said, listen, this is nothing more than a political stunt. But he also said this, quoting here, nevertheless, Hunter is eager to have the opportunity in a public forum and at the right time to discuss these matters with the committee. Man, Leslie, I would love to see Hunter Biden jump on the stand and explain his end of this.
Well, apparently he will be, because
I love it.
I don't think most of us Democrats, unlike Republicans, ignore subpoenas. Even though they're not criminal in nature, it's an investigation from Congress, which is, whether people like it or not, because it's not criminal, it is a political investigation. And here are the two things I want to point out. One is they are definitely going to impeach Joe Biden. They don't really have a reason to impeach Joe Biden, and they're trying to find a reason with all of this, and I don't think they will. But second, after yesterday's showings, with the exception of one mayoral seat in Manchester, New Hampshire, Democrats did very, very well in the election yesterday, and this is not what the American people want their tax dollars and time spent on, and that's Republicans as well. And so I want to thank the Republicans for having all these investigations, because it's going to help my party in the next election.
Yeah, but they got a lot of evidence building against them. Let's see if that's important. Well, I want to bring this to the border now. Here's Lindsey Graham questioning the DHS secretary on the explosion of the terror watch list suspects. Watch.
There's 280-something people on the terrorist watch list that we know of. Where are they?
Senator, the terrorist screening data set.
Where are the people?
The individuals whom we encounter that are on the terrorist screening data set.
Are they out of the country?
Are screened.
Are they out of the country or are they in the country?
Senator, they very well may be out of the country.
But you don't know.
And the truth is, John, nobody knows. Nobody knows if they're in the country, if they're out of the country. There's just no way to vet any of these. Nobody knows.
This is a really, really terrible story for the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security, because either he does know and he's stonewalling, he doesn't want the American people to know where they are, or he has no idea what his department's actually doing. Either way, these answers he's providing are astounding. And it's, as you, Trace, you were over in the Middle East. This is a time when we have to be actually more vigilant than normal at the border, because we know that Hamas, Iran would love to slip terrorists into the United States right now. This is when we have to be watching more closely. The fact that the Department of Homeland Security is not aware of where these people are is shocking.
The same guy, by the way, who wanted to build a wall a couple months ago. We need to build a wall. Okay, your final thoughts on this, Leslie?
Well, there are two things. First of all, I think it's a stupid question. I'm sorry, Senator Graham. And the reason for that is nobody in their right mind, regardless of what administration, is going to say where they are if we knew. One. Two, if we know where they are, they're not going to be on the watch list. They're going to be in custody with one of the nations that is hunting them down. And three, not knowing where terrorists are on a watch list is not a sole Joe Biden presidency or Democrat presidency.
But it's a big
we
part
don't
of it.
know where the terrorists on the watch list are, because if we did, they would no longer be on the list. They'd be in handcuffs and they'd be behind bars.
Part of the problem is that there are more terrorist watch list people in September and October than during the entire Trump administration. Leslie, John, thank you both. We appreciate it.